I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber Jean Cosplay, and today we are back again with you guys with The Boys. Episode 2, Season 2.
Yes. Daddy's home!
I'm glad that Butcher is back with his crazy eyes.
He was barely there in the first episode, but yeah, he is back to help everyone because the girl that was in charge of the CIA and that was the only ally our boys had on the good side basically got killed.
Yeah.
Head exploded. It was brutal. We did not expect that at all. We jumped like crazy. It's not good for them because now like no one can help them. They've got Starlight with a possible lead to some V. She blackmailed someone she knew to go get some, and hopefully it works out, but I wouldn't be happy. I won't be happy until she actually has one, vial in her hand.
I just hope that she doesn't get caught.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
That would be bad.
That's one of the reasons why Hughie didn't tell her about the girl at the CIA, and he's like telling her not to rush into things. He's lying to her again, and she knows it, so that's not good, but we'll see where that leads them. Mm-hmm. Aside from that, Homelander was acting like he was the boss last episode. He tried to, rule everything and fought, but then...
he got put at his place by Stanegar.
He is there to stay. He is in control, and he's not afraid of Homelander like Madeline was, so he's not gonna listen at all.
Nope.
So
he's
that's
a
cool.
businessman and he tends to rule Vought as a business.
Yeah, basically. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Having someone, face Homelander and not be afraid of him, that's already pretty badass, so that's nice. So yeah, and we've got a super villain, that's free in the city, so that's not good.
We also got a new superhero.
Yes!
In the 7.
A
named
Stormfront.
And she's original, I might say.
She is in touch with her fan base. So I loved her personality in the first episode, and hopefully we get to see her more in this second episode. So I say we jump into it and find out.
Let's watch it, guys.
Let's go.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, so...
In a way, Butcher is a lot like Homelander in the sense that he thinks that he's entitled to everything that he wants to without giving explanation to his team. How did you expect Hughie to be on your side if you didn't tell him that the deal was you caught the supervillain and you get to save your wife? For Hughie, that was just Kimiko's brother.
I wouldn't say he's like Homelander, or that he feels entitled to do whatever the hell he wants. I'd say that Butcher is very... His emotions are very, very precious to him, and they're under lock, He doesn't trust people easily. He is very closed off to everyone around him. So, Hughie has an approach of, we're all friends, we're all in this together, let's do the right thing, let's help each other out. Well, Butcher, he's like, if I don't lie to them, if I don't offer them something, if I don't make them believe that they're doing this for them, they're not gonna help me. Because who's that nice, He's lost his good side a long time ago, and I think he's convinced that if he doesn't give them something, they're just not gonna help, and he needs their help. So in this episode, when they basically showed him that no, they had changed, and it was not going to work anymore, the lies and the manipulation and just following blindly was not going to, it wasn't going to work for the boys. He had to tell them the truth and open up, but I don't think he expected them to ever lend him a hand if there was nothing for them in it. They're not supposed to be the good guys. They're not supposed to help each other or do the right thing just because they want or just because they can. It's very personal to him, and it's something that that makes him very vulnerable. We weren't sure last season because of what we saw, but I think she was just in shock. Okay. She was definitely, she was raped, and now she has to fucking survive in a prison, if you think about it, because she's surrounded by walls, and she can't leave, and she has to lie to her kid for her kid's safety, and now for Butcher's safety. And Homelander is surrounding, her, and he's talking to her son, and he's putting ideas in his head, and she has to go through that with her rapist right next to her. That'd be disturbing. So He understands Butcher. He understands where she is and what situation she's in, and he desperately needs to get her out of there. But I think that he can't do it alone, and getting to have the boys' help was, for him, a reason to lie and manipulate them into helping, because he doesn't think they will do it outside the greatness of their heart, you know?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true. The thing is, if you open yourself to others and you get close to them and you allow yourself to, you know, make connections and bonds.
You also allow yourself to get hurt or get
that's why they defended Kimiko in this episode, you know? She gave them nothing, technically. She's nothing to them, so why should they help her? Well, that's because they spent time with her and eventually they developed a bond.
Well, she technically saved, what's the Frenchie?
Yes.
She technically saved Frenchie against Black Maw.
Well, yeah, Frenchie has a connection with her for sure, but even, you know, Mother's Milk, he ended up liking the girl and spending enough time with her to you know, care for her enough to, you know, consider her part of the group. Mm-hmm. That's making bonds, making connections. That's one thing that Butcher doesn't allow himself to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he allows himself to be open to them. It never ends up well.
Yeah.
Like, Hughie knew about why he was doing all this shit in season 1, and still, like, he ended up turning his back on him, but not for the reasons Butcher thinks. He turned his back on him because Butcher's ways meant leaving everyone else behind. So, yeah, he's just not willing to open himself up to others, to trust them, to help him, and to tell them the truth, the whole truth. So he needs to learn how to socialize, and he needs to learn how to open up and trust people. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Hopefully.
Oh, man. Hopefully. But the whole Becca situation is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, for a sec, I forgot how that kid came to be, but... Because I'm like, Homelander, and by the way, apparently there's a trailer for season 2 that we should watch that kind of explores Homelander's backstory. So if I remember it after the discussion, we will watch it. But we know that this kid was born of a rape, which first of all doesn't make it, you know, easy for us to see, you know, the dad wanting to be with the son. Like, I don't think he has any right to that kid. Mm-hmm. And as twisted as Homelander's past was, it doesn't excuse his behavior.
The thing is, do you think that Homelander saw it as a rape, though?
I don't even know.
With the way that he was brought up and the way that he grew up?
He definitely understands, though, that he's in control in this situation.
He doesn't understand boundaries, personal spaces.
No, for sure.
He doesn't understand relationship between people, too. Like, someone being nice to him doesn't mean that that person is into it.
Yeah, no, at first, yeah, but the girl literally said to him, now, leave my house. I don't want you around my son and stuff. Like, she's not being subtle here. Like, she's telling him to leave, and he knows that, and he still manages to manipulate her and use the kid against her. So, at one point, we gotta stop, like, giving him excuses about, you know, his past and him not being able to socialize and stuff.
I'm not giving him excuses.
He is definitely... I understand he wants to be with his son. He wants to spend time with his son. He wants to connect with another human being because he has no family. Mm-hmm. And for once in his life, he's got a possibility to have that. The son, though, doesn't seem very inclined to make that connection yet. Like, it's too soon. And he pushes it, and he gives them, you know, speeches about them being able to do whatever the hell they want. It's probably very different from what he's been raised, from the way he's been raised, you know? So, and I'm afraid, like, if the kid doesn't become what Homelander wants him to become, I'm afraid of what Homelander will do. Yeah. And if Homelander's plan works, I'm afraid of what the kid could also become following his dad.
It's also so awkward, though, when Homelander told his kid that, I love you, son. Don't you say it backward to me. Say it. Say that you love your dad.
Yeah, it's very awkward.
Yeah, I love you too. That's just so awkward. And he's not used to have a genuine connection with somebody. So he expects them to just love him right away.
You are my son.
Say it right away. Since you're my dad, I'm supposed to love you even though I just know you like 2 days ago, you know?
A little more than that.
Okay, like 2 weeks ago, but it doesn't work like that. It's been like 8 years?
Especially since Homelander he spent his time with them, but at the same time, it's kind of like he's not happy with what his son is. He's trying to turn him into something else. he's like, okay, use your powers and stuff. At your age, I could do this. And he wants him to be like he is, because this way he sees an equal or a potential equal, and not some weak human who's so different from himself. He wants someone that looks like him, that acts like him, that is strong like him, someone he can connect with. But it's just not, that's not what his son is right now. So yeah, it's gonna be awkward for a long time, and he's still a problem when it comes to Becca and her son. So hopefully Butcher can save her, but yeah, we'll see what happens if Mallory can help him.
Yeah, it's good and sad though that Becca got a secret. Tiroir en anglais, c'est quoi?
Oh, she's got a secret place for Butcher's pictures and stuff, that thing.
It's cute and sad.
Well, it's like she buried that old life because she still loves him and he's still, in her heart, but she has to, for her son, she has to forget about him. So she has to move on and not let the son see anything of him, because he's going to ask questions.
What did you think about the situation between Starlight and A-Train?
Well, first of all, I am, no matter how much of a dick he is, I am actually happy that A-Train is alive. I think he is so desperate for his secret to stay a secret. Like, this is like kind of like forget it. I think I was about to mix another show into this. Sorry, but yeah, he killed his girlfriend, and the guilt is getting too much for him. So if everyone knew about it, if the truth came out, it'd be too much for him to bear. Especially if you add to that the fact that he wants to stay a celebrity, wants to stay known and popular and stuff. So I think he's got way more to lose than what Starlight made it appear. She's got less to lose than he does. At least that's what she said. But I mean, she's got a lot to lose too. It's just that she doesn't care as much about her image, maybe. And she knows she's doing the right thing, so she's willing to make sacrifices, whereas he's not perfect the way he wants everyone else to think. And he's got a lot of dark secrets that he doesn't want to come to light, because if they do, his entire life is over, and then he'll be crushed by the guilt. So I get why he wants to make her suffer, because he feels like she's the bad guy, and she betrayed them, and she's helping Hughie, so he wants to make her suffer. But at the same time, he can't back up his threats, because he's too much of a coward when it comes to his own secrets. So yeah, I get it, and I love that she basically called him out on his bluff. Like, it was a huge risk, but she decided to take a chance, follow in her new coworker's footsteps, maybe. By the way, Stormfront, I do appreciate the personality. Like, she came in kind of like Starlight. It's just that they're different on the personality front. Like, Starlight was more shy and nice little girl, and she's just open, badass, and she doesn't give a shit, Yeah. It's just that Starlight fell because she was shy and because she was, scared, and that was her dream, and she wanted to follow that dream. She kind of fell in that hole that is Vought.
Yeah.
And she let some stuff happen, and then she met Hughie, and she started not giving a shit, but then things got too intense, so she can no longer just say whatever the hell she wants and act the way she wants, because it puts her in danger. But she knows the secrets.
Yeah, she knows what's behind the door of Vought, so.
And Stormfront has no idea. Like, right now, they're not doing much to her. They're not forcing her to do anything, or, they're not trying to change her. Maybe because it's not, it's Ashley who's in charge. Maybe because, Homelander doesn't give a shit right now.
I mean, because she got in by Stanley Guard. Maybe. He's the one who let her in.
It's just that when Madeline was in charge, image and, publicity and fame, that was so important. Yes, and she knew how to manipulate them into following exactly what she wanted. Ashley's not like that. She follows whatever she's been told. She follows what Homelander tells her, and she doesn't know how to manipulate them. She comes up with ideas, but she doesn't like to see them, rebel, but she doesn't know how to control them. So maybe that's why she's allowed to do whatever the hell she wants, but she has no idea what they're capable of. So if she goes too far, she might get a taste of this. But the fact that she came into the Seven after Madeline's death, is probably the only reason why she's allowed to be like this, and for so long too, compared to Starlight. But we see it, like, Starlight doesn't appreciate it either. It's just that she plays her role so much that even Stormfront thinks that she's a sellout, you know? Mm-hmm. And she goes through this. Like, I've heard about celebrities complaining about, you know, how they always get the same questions during interviews, how it's such a routine, because there's nothing interesting, there's nothing stimulating to always answering the same shallow questions, especially for girls. Like, there are compilations on YouTube of actresses who have to answer to sexist questions, always centered around their diets, or always centered around how it feels to be a girl in this industry.
The underwear even, so...
What?
The underwear even.
Yes,
Have you seen that question that one of the
journalists
asked Scarlett Johansson?
Yes, I've seen a lot of that, and it's bullshit, because compared to that, the guys get questions like, you know, really deep questions about their characters and about the process to get into that mindset. Like, really interesting questions for an artist to answer, and the girls get the shallow questions. So I had that feeling when I saw Starlight and Stormfront at the... Everything is falling.
Yeah.
When I saw them doing the interviews, it's always the same questions about their place in the group as girls, you know, because girls can't be as badass as guys.
Do you think that girls are equal to boys in the superhero?
Yeah. Or and I mean, Stormfront got mad when they basically also used that as a feminist thing too. You know, it's like, you can be a girl and do your job without someone making fun of it or belittling you, or someone using that as an excuse to make an example out of you and just make a huge deal out of it, when in fact it should not be a huge deal, because girls can do the same fucking shit as boys.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Neither are better than the other, you know?
I do agree, though, that, you know, sometimes it's great to have examples and to have people fight for this. It's just that if that was not her goal, if she just wants to do her job, those questions can get too much, too personal, and sometimes too shallow, and sometimes just boring. Because what do you answer to that? That's not even your goal. Like, you just want to save people. You want to do your job. Yeah. So yeah, I think she doesn't take any bullshit, and she knows it, and she doesn't know yet the consequences that this could lead to. She
doesn't know that she just entered the wolf den yet. So yeah. Let's see the end of the season 2. Okay. The Deep.
Oh yeah, let's fast forward for the Deep, but I get it. Like, everything was said in the episode. He sees himself as
so
disgusting.
Funny, but this is so a deeper subject though, because it is true that when you have a physical
defect,
I wouldn't call that a defect though, but when you're
something
physically different, it could be difficult for you to accept yourself and to allow people to see you as you are.
He's so afraid of being judged and laughed at that he prefers to be. He's like a bully. You know, when you say that bullies usually have the worst home lives, because they're so used to being laughed at or belittled, or, you know, sometimes it's worse. But they are the victims at home. So when they go to school, they prefer to become the bully because they don't want to be again in the position of weakness. It's kind of the same thing, I think, with the Deep. He is a victim. He used to be a victim, or he fears he's going to be the victim. So he lashes out first. So they don't have, you know, the courage or they don't have a reason to belittle him and laugh at him and mock him because he's different. It's a very shitty reaction, but to a very serious problem. Yeah. So in a way, even though it kind of looks weird, and it kind of looks like a cult as well, even though it's not a cult, but it's the way they do it is a bit weird, especially since it looks like they came out
a pamphlet of a church.
But it's like they came out of nowhere. So, like, who are they? What are they doing here? Like, was he sent by bot, or was he just a friend that wants to help him out? I don't know. But the problem is real.
Even with everything that he did, I seriously hope that with their help, he's going to be able to learn to love himself and be a better person and a better hero.
Like, everyone is capable of change as much as, you know, as long as it starts from them. So he was an asshole, and I do not forgive what he did. No. But if he decides to change and you know, get forgiveness and do the right thing from now on, yeah, I can get behind that. It's just funny to me that they only in The Boys, right? Can you get a scene where the actor is going through so much and he's crying and the character is not good with himself and he's talking about very serious problems, while you have a trip on mushrooms and your gills start singing to you to make you feel better. And you actually have a duet with the gills.
Yeah.
Only on The Boys.
Can you imagine though, you got the hero and the girl on the other side of the door and they hear him singing, it's gonna...
They probably do.
What is he doing? Is he singing to himself?
He's healing.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll see what he does next, but I was worried last episode that, well, not worried, because actually we are against Vought. Vought is the enemy, and I was wondering if he was gonna, rebel enough against Vought to maybe say something and, further the plot a little bit, but, I mean, he could still do that, especially if he becomes a better person and chooses to, ask forgiveness and change a little bit.
Maybe.
But, his relationship with women has nothing to do with Vought, so even if he changes on that front, he might still support the company. So that might not happen, but in any case, it's always fun to see the deep. So yeah, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
So thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next one right away, it is on Patreon already. You can check it out if you want. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't, you can wait for the next one to be out on YouTube, which will be next week, guys. So we're gonna see you then.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.